Hello and welcome to the second of these Facebook Lives that I've done this week. For those of you that missed the one that I did yesterday, I was basically introducing that I'm starting a functional medicine clinic in Tiptree, Essex, and if you're not too sure what functional medicine is, I would suggest the best place to start would be to go onto iPlayer and have a look at Doctor in the House. There's been 2 series now of about 4 or 5 episodes each series. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, who's gone into people's houses and tackled chronic health conditions using a functional medicine approach. And that's what I'm going to be looking to do back in Tiptree, creating one of those clinics for those suffering persistent pain for 3 months or longer, particularly alongside a digestive complaint such as bloating after eating or IBS. Just want to thank everybody for the amount of shares and likes that the video yesterday got. Honoured, and I think that it even extended further than just the friends and family who are doing it to support my venture. So today I said that I'd talk about hay fever. Helped a few people out both online with a few people mentioned that they got hay fever, and I just replied to their messages, and a few people come into my clinic this week and the last few weeks as the temperatures started to get warmer. So this is a bit of an aside really. My main focus, as I said, is on those people suffering with the pain lasting longer than 3 months. But hey, it's topical at the moment. So it's also something that that I used to suffer with in my late teenage years. I was a regular antihistamine taker. I used to take Claritin, those tiny little tablets, and also I used the nasal spray for probably 2 or 3 years. I also suffered with asthma as a child and had eczema right up until just a few years ago, particularly on my hands. So those conditions, they all have a bit of a link. The link typically is inflammation within the body, and people are often susceptible to, if you're susceptible to one of those, you often have all 2 or 3 of those kind of conditions. But it is something that can be broken with lifestyle medicine. When you start to change your diet and make a few other little tweaks to your lifestyle, then you can get on top of these conditions without necessarily needing the medication. I haven't taken any over-the-counter medication for hay fever or anything now for about 6 or 7 years, which I'm pretty proud of, and that's what I hope to help other people if they so wish. It's not necessarily just about helping people not take medication. It's bigger than that. It's helping people to live fulfilling, pain-free lives and follow whatever passion they want to in life. So I'm not going to go into great depths on why hay fever occurs. Yes, it is to do with pollen. Pollen's not the only reason though, because if it was, we'd all have hay fever because there's plenty of pollen out there. So yeah, it's not just about pollen. And yeah, we're going to focus really today on the techniques and a few little tips that you can actively do right away. I gather that's what most people are interested in. I can point you in the direction of where you can get further information if the more scientific stuff is your bag. So, histamine is the chemical in the body that the antihistamines work against, not surprisingly, and it acts like a local hormone, so it increases swelling if we get a cut or a bite or something like that on the skin. Histamine is the chemical messenger that enables the swelling to occur around that site, and it's also what causes the symptoms of the runny nose, the itchy eyes, the typical hay fever symptoms. So antihistamines do work, they do reduce that histamine response. However, histamine does have other effects in the body. It's a neurotransmitter, so it connects in our brain, hence why I can remember when I used to take the antihistamines for my hay fever, I used to get pretty drowsy with it. I used to get a real slump in the afternoon and sometimes feel really sleepy. So I think a lot of the newer medications are much better now, and they're less with the drowsiness, but let's try some of these other things that I'm going to talk about today as well. So typically what happens is, first day that hay fever starts affecting people is it's one of the warmest days of that year, That needs to happen for flowers to start releasing their pollen. And then we typically go outside, move about more, sweat more than what we have done in those previous weeks, and and we come to get a little bit dehydrated. So dehydration is another thing that stimulates histamine. Therefore, the best way initially to combat hay fever symptoms is rehydration strategies. Interestingly, the placenta produces a lot of diamine oxidase, which is an enzyme that actually clears histamine from the body. So that's often why women find that food sensitivities that they may have had before being pregnant get a lot better. Comment below if this is the case for you. If you're pregnant at the moment, let me know if your hay fever's not as bad this year. It'd be really interesting. So, going back to the rehydration, it can take up to 2 weeks to fully rehydrate from a dehydrated state. Okay, it's not just a case of drinking a couple of glasses of water and then being fully hydrated. It takes a little bit longer than that. So, yeah, the challenge is now set for you guys. For 2 weeks, I want you to drink, and it's best always to drink water between meals. If you drink water with meals, it dilutes the stomach acid, therefore rendering it less effective in the digestive system. So I get my patients to drink half an hour before and after they're going to have a meal. So breakfast, lunch and dinner, and also to start the day with water. I quite like hot water in the morning. I put a little bit of lemon in there. Some people just drink a straight pint of just cold water. Try that before you start the caffeinating beverages, even if they are with coconut oil and grass-fed butter, if bulletproof coffee is your thing. So I've got my water with me now, as it's probably about half an hour before I'm going to eat some lunch here. And it's had a little bit of pinch of salt. Here I've got the Cornish sea salt. When I'm back in Essex, I'll be getting back onto the Malden sea salt, because I like to consume local produce from wherever I am in the world. And salt, it's got a little bad press over recent years, but there's a big difference between table salt that we often see, the real finely grained salt that's been chemically produced and is pretty much void of any minerals, and natural sea salt. Natural sea salt is required in the body, and if you're ever in hospital and unfortunate enough to be on an IV drip, there'll be electrolytes and salts within that drip that won't be pure water. So it is better to rehydrate with electrolytes. Similarly, if you're running a marathon, if you just drink pure water, it will actually dehydrate you further, because it will strip the minerals within your cells of your body. So if you're not sweating profusely, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to carry salt around with you the whole time. But if you've got the opportunity to, if I know a lot of you guys will be working from home and things like that, then put just a little pinch sea salt into your water, and will help the rehydration process. If you're interested in learning more about how important hydration is within our body, the book that I would recommend is by a guy whose name is really difficult to pronounce, Batman Gandhi, Your Body's Cries for Water. I'll put a link to that in the comments below. That's a really good book. It's been 2 or 3 years since I read it now, but yeah, it really dives deep into the research and evidence behind water. Good to see some people have joined in. Thanks for tuning in, as we've just covered a little bit about hay fever, and we're just going now, and it's a little challenge to everybody to for the next 2 weeks to try and drink half a pint of water before and after 3 meals of the day, if you follow a 3-meal policy, for a rehydration strategy to combat hay fever. So what do we get up to? Another a little bit more out there tips to have a cold shower. Again, between an hour and half an hour before eating. If you can, have a cold shower. If you're brave enough, go straight cold. If you're not quite as brave, go for warm shower followed by a cold shower for the last minute or so. That will, one, reduce the amount of sweating, so reduce water loss through the skin. It'll also send blood deep to the digestive system, and you actually digest your food that you have better. And food is another strategy that you can use, as I mentioned with my story of eczema. One of the best ways that I found that helped me improve my eczema and my hay fever symptoms was to reduce, or basically eliminate, the amount of dairy that I had in my diet. So I would say reduce the inflammatory foods, gluten, dairy, and alcohol as well. Alcohol obviously being a dehydrative effect on the body too. So number one is that rehydration strategy. Secondly, cold shower. If you're not quite as brave, just turn the last 30 seconds to cold. Again, if you want to go more into that, look up Wim Hof. He's got a fantastic program that really is doing wonders with people with depression and other things, just by focusing on breathing and cold showers. And thirdly, remove the inflammatory foods, gluten, dairy, and alcohol. Okay, this is what I'm using with most of my patients that are going through my programs at the moment. It's pretty standard. Come off those 3 inflammatory foods, and you'll find not only would hay fever symptoms get better, but you'll feel a lot better. Brain fog will reduce, energy levels will get better, mood will be more stable, and that's the other thing with the rehydration itself. You'll just notice, if you're somebody who's always putting lip salve on, that's a pretty good indication that you are dehydrated. And follow that rehydration strategy and just notice how the need to put that lip salve on all day, every day reduces. Similarly, if you suffer acid reflux or constipation, those things will get better once you rehydrate your body. So I hope this has been helpful for some of you out there. Feel free. It'd be great if you can share this and tag some other people who might find this information useful. I'm just trying to give away what I've learned over the last 10 years of deep diving into what creates health within people. More than happy to go into other topics if people want to utilise my knowledge and put a request that I do one of these Facebook Lives on a different topic. If I can just take this opportunity to again to say that over the next year I'm focused on creating a community of health within North Essex, and want to connect with people whose that resonates with. So be that maybe you feel like you can help in that mission. I've already had a couple of people come to me, which is great. And also, if you feel like this message resonates with you or someone that you know in terms of wanting to be part of the program, I'm happy to start offering 15-minute consultations over phone or Skype, where we can have a chat and I can go through what the program entails and whether it'll be something that will be suitable for you. I know it can help people with persistent pain for 3 months or longer, and those with digestive symptoms such as bloating after eating and IBS. And I'm confident it can help people outside of that, but I'm just focusing on those people initially. But reach out to me if you're suffering something else, and these messages that I'm giving resonates with you, and you'd like to see if we can work further together. So I think, unless there's anybody that wants to add any questions in now, which I'm happy to answer, otherwise I'll leave this broadcast here and see what reaction I get from people, and I'm happy to keep doing these. I'll probably do them a couple of times a week in the build up to the clinic launch, and that will happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll start having people into the program in probably mid to late July. Really excited, looking forward to it. Looking forward to catching up with all the Essex folks, and reconnected with some friends that I haven't seen for a little while. So hope it's been helpful. I'm Dan Trussler, and functional medicine is coming to North Essex in Tiptree as of next month. Take care everyone, hope you have a fantastic weekend. Get rehydrating.